As tensions continue to rise between Japan and China, it seems that Japan is gearing up for the possibility of a military confrontation. While China has the world's largest land army and the largest submarine fleet, Japan has been focusing its efforts on building its military might, particularly in terms of aircraft carriers. In a move that could potentially change the balance of power in the region, Japan has unveiled its most significant military expansion since World War II. With a whopping $320 billion plan, the once unthinkable will see Japan become the third biggest military spender globally, following closely behind the United States and China. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida addressed the nation and emphasized that Japan is at a turning point in history and that the military buildup was his answer to the various security challenges that the country faces. This sweeping plan marks a dramatic departure from Japan's pacifist tradition and indicates a significant shift in its foreign policy. Kishida's government is deeply concerned about Russia's recent invasion of Ukraine, which could embolden China to attack Taiwan. Such an attack could pose a grave threat to nearby Japanese islands, disrupting the supply of advanced semiconductors and cutting off critical sea lanes that supply oil from the Middle East. The proposed military expansion is a clear signal that Japan is ready to protect its interests and respond to any potential security threats that may arise in the future. The ongoing conflict between Japan and China is centered on a small, uninhabited group of islands in the East China Sea, known as Senkaku in Japan and Diaoyu in China. Both countries claim these islands as their own, and tensions continue to rise as each nation digs in its heels. The islands themselves may not seem like much at first glance, but their strategic location makes them a valuable prize. Surrounded by prime fishing grounds and undersea oil deposits, whoever lays claim to the islands could reap substantial economic benefits. Japan argues that the islands have always been part of its territory, both historically and by international law. However, China claims that the islands were stolen by Japan in 1895 and should have been returned after World War II. Adding fuel to the fire, Chinese Coast Guard and fishing boats routinely violate Japanese waters, raising concerns about potential clashes between the two nations. With both sides refusing to back down, the Senkaku or Diaoyu Islands continue to be a hotly contested flashpoint in the ongoing Japan-China conflict. As tensions between Japan and China continue to rise, Japan is looking to bolster its military capabilities to ensure that it can hold its own in the event of a conflict. While it is building stronger relationships with established military powers like the US and the UK, Japan knows that it needs to have its own powerful weapons at the ready. And that's where its aircraft carriers come in, especially the impressive JS Izumo. These massive vessels are like floating cities that can project power across the seas, making them a key tool in any potential conflict with China. With its powerful jets and advanced weaponry, the Izumo is a true powerhouse that can strike fear into the hearts of Japan's enemies. And Japan knows that it needs to have these types of capabilities if it wants to be taken seriously on the world stage. The JS Izumo has undergone an interesting journey. Originally built as a helicopter-carrying destroyer, it was upgraded into an aircraft carrier that could counter its Chinese equivalent. It's going to be the first aircraft carrier that is operated by Japan since World War II after its redesigning. The aircraft carrier has a length of 248 meters, a beam of 38 meters, and a draft of 7.5 meters. However, the Izumo has neither a ski jump nor a catapult, which are typical features used in launching fixed-wing aircraft. If Izumo were to operate fixed-wing aircraft, it would be limited to short takeoff vertical landing aircraft, or STOVL aircraft for short. One such aircraft is the American F-35B, which is widely regarded as the most advanced and intelligent stealth jet ever to grace the skies. This STOVL approach seemed manageable enough for Japan's Ministry of Defense. Despite already having the conventional version of the F-35, the F-35A, Japan announced that it would purchase about 40 F-35B to be shared between Izumo and its sister carrier, Kaga. The Izumo has an air defense suite consisting of 2 Phalanx and 2 C-RAM Close in Weapon Systems CIWS. It has a wide array of sensors, processing equipment, electronic warfare, and decoys that enable it to spot and counter threats in time. All of these are powered by a propulsion system of a Kogag with 2 shafts and 4 GIHILM 2500 IEC gas turbines that produce up to 112,100 horsepower equivalent to 83,600 kilowatts. This propulsion system thrusts the Izumo to a top speed of 30 knots and provides enough power across the entire ship to serve a complement of 520 people. All of these features and capabilities add to give the Izumo a price tag of just over $1 billion. With the JS Izumo leading the charge, Japan is ready to give China a run for its money. If there's one thing that scares the Chinese more than Godzilla, it's the thought of a fully armed and operational Japanese aircraft carrier. So watch out, China, because with the Izumo on the high seas, Japan is going to bring the heat and maybe even some wasabi. If you'd like that wasabi as well, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until our next story.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories.